with you, and I am watching you right now, not from far away, not distracted, not unaware. I see you exactly where you are in this moment, with everything you've been carrying inside. Can we speak for a moment? Please don't pass this by. Your heart didn't stop here by accident. You didn't pause because you were bored. You stopped because something within you needs this conversation, even if you can't explain why. I know you feel empty, even while you fight so hard to stay strong. You wake up and do what you must do. You show up. You smile when it's expected. You hold yourself together when no one is looking. Yet inside, there is a quiet, hollow place that never seems to fill, no matter how much you give, how much you accomplish, or how much you endure. If these words are reaching you, pause and stay with them. Right, I'm here in the comments, then take a breath and stay with me. I see that emptiness clearly. Listen to me closely now. I am not disappointed in you. I am not tired of you. I am proud of you. Stop for a moment. Just stop. I would not draw you into this pause unless it mattered deeply. I do not step into your moment without purpose. As you stay with me now, I am ready to meet you here and begin restoring what has been worn down, one that doesn't shout but settles, one that doesn't overwhelm but restores. This is not hype, this is alignment. You have been holding so much for so long. You learned how to survive without complaining. You learned how to carry weight quietly. You learned how to keep going even when you were tired of being the strong one. And you don't understand why the emptiness keeps returning, no matter how hard you try to fix it. Let me tell you why, because you deserve to know. My child, do not look away now. Do not let distraction steal this moment. I am closer than you think. I have always been closer than you realized. I want to speak into the places you have never shown anyone. The places where you stopped explaining because no one truly understood. The places where you told yourself to keep moving, even while something inside you was still aching. I see them. I am not afraid of your hidden wounds. I honor you for surviving what nearly broke you. I honor you for choosing tenderness when disappointment could have hardened you, for continuing to care when closing your heart would have been easier. If that's you, you can simply write Amen below, and if someone you love is weary, share this quietly. And if someone you love is tired like this, share this with them quietly. I see how you kept listening, even through the numbness. What has felt empty for so long does not need noise or pressure, only a quiet peace that can remain. If this feels deeply personal, it is because it is. These words are reaching you where you truly live. This may not reach everyone the same way, but if it's reaching you, stay close. I know the roads you have walked, the losses you carry, and the hopes you still hold in silence because you are afraid to speak them. I see the weariness hidden beneath your strength. Stay close to this moment. It is not random, and it is not small. What begins now will not force change around you first. It will awaken something within you. And when the heart shifts, life begins to follow. You are not weak for feeling empty. Emptiness is not failure. Often, it is the mark of a life poured out without being refilled. You gave because you had to. You stood because others depended on you. You endured because stopping did not feel possible. But even the strongest soul grows weary without rest. I see how long you have carried without being carried, and I will not leave you to bear this alone. I am near because I care. I am speaking because silence would make you believe something is wrong with you. There is nothing broken in you. You are not lost. You are not failing. You are weary. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34-18. You are seen, and that is why restoration can begin. Weariness does not need judgment. It needs restoration. It needs restoration. What is unfolding now may look quiet, almost unnoticed, yet this moment carries weight, not because of something dramatic, but because something within you is beginning to realign. Your thoughts can find space again. And deep inside, your spirit can begin to sense it is not alone, that it is no longer standing alone. This is not imagination, and it is more than emotion. This is where you are being met, exactly as you are. Do not hurry past this. Let it settle fully. For too long you have rushed beyond your own needs, softened your pain, and convinced yourself that it did not matter. But it does. Your pain matters. Your emptiness matters. You matter. You may not understand what is changing, and you do not need to. Simply remain open, stay present, allow truth to reach you without resistance. Nothing here is meant to overwhelm you. This is not pressure, it is renewal. I am not honoring you for what you achieved, but for what you carried, for what you endured when no one saw, for the strength you lived in silence. That honor is deep, and it is the reason this moment has found you. Stay here. Do not turn away. What is beginning is real, and it is meant for you. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. Jeremiah 31:3. You are not being watched from a distance. You are being held in attention, in care, and in a presence that has not left you for a moment. You do not need to prepare yourself for this moment. Nothing has to be explained, nothing has to be fixed, and you do not need to search for the right words. Your heart is already known, and this nearness is intentional. This is a quiet space, unhurried, undisturbed, where it is just you and me. Here, you are safe to breathe, safe to feel, safe to be honest without fear. I did not come to question you or to correct you harshly. I came to sit with you, to surround you with care, and to remind you that you are not alone. There is no pressure here, no judgment, only presence. I see the weariness beneath the strength you show the world. I see how carefully you carry yourself so others won't worry. I see how you keep moving forward even when your heart feels heavy. You may feel unnoticed by many, but you are not unnoticed by me. I watch over you with attention and with love, not disappointment. This moment is personal. Your journey is not generic. Your questions, your endurance, your quiet hope, these belong to you alone. That is why this meeting is sacred and private. You do not need to fear my closeness. I know that closeness has not always felt safe, and you have learned to guard your heart. But you do not need armor here. I am gentle with what you carry. I will not rush you. I will not ask more than you can give. I am here to hold space for you, not to overwhelm you. And if this feels direct, if it feels close, it is because your heart is ready, even if that readiness comes through exhaustion. Readiness is not always confidence. Sometimes it is a soul that has grown tired of searching, a heart that has reached the end of its own strength and is finally willing to rest. I see your thoughts, how quickly you question yourself, how often you wonder if you are doing enough. Set those questions down for now. You do not need to solve your future here. You do not need to understand tomorrow. This is not a performance. You do not need to appear strong. You do not need to hide your doubts or polish your faith. I know the part of you that feels brave, and I know the part that feels uncertain, and I welcome both. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. You are closer to me than you realize, closer than the worries that circle your mind, closer than the fears that visit in the night, closer than the emptiness that settles when everything grows quiet. My presence is not something you must earn. I am here because I choose to be with you, and I see the moments you felt alone, even when surrounded by people. I see the quiet effort it takes for you just to keep moving forward. I see how often you downplay your own pain because you do not want to be a burden. But you are not a burden to me. You never have been. Let your shoulders soften. You have carried tension for so long that it has begun to feel normal. You have learned how to function under weight, but functioning is not the same as resting. This moment is an invitation to rest in my presence, without explanation, without defense. You are used to conversations where you must justify your feelings or prove your strength. This is not one of them. You do not need to convince me of anything. I already understand. I know what you have lived through, even the parts you cannot fully describe. If it feels like your hidden places are being seen, do not be afraid. You are safe here. I do not look to expose you for shame. I see so that healing can begin. I notice so that restoration can follow. My attention is not pressure, it is care. I am patient with your heart. I am not measuring your progress or counting how long it takes you to open. I am simply here. True presence does not hurry. It stays, it listens, it remains. This moment exists because you need to know that your silent battles are known and that you are not alone in your thoughts. You may wonder if I am disappointed in you for feeling tired or uncertain. Hear this clearly. I am not disappointed. I am moved with compassion. I am proud of you for continuing when everything felt empty. I am proud that you did not give up, even when you could not see where the road was leading. Your life is not unnoticed. It is not small. It is not forgotten. Here, you can be honest. You can admit that you are tired. You can admit that you feel empty. You can admit that you do not have all the answers. None of this pushes me away. It draws me closer. The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love. Psalm 103-8. Let yourself feel the calm of this moment. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, steady and gentle. The kind of peace that allows your heart to breathe again. The kind that reminds you that you were never meant to carry everything alone. You are not interrupting me by being here. You are not asking for too much. You were invited into this moment because you are seen and valued exactly as you are. Stay a little longer. Let the noise fade. Let the pressure loosen. Allow yourself to be held in love rather than measured by expectation. This is not the end of the conversation. It is the beginning of something quieter, deeper, and more honest. I am here. I see you. And I am not leaving. My child, the emptiness you feel within you is not a sign that something is wrong. It is not failure, weakness, or a loss of faith. It is the quiet evidence of a heart that has carried more than it was ever meant to carry for too long. You have been strong far beyond the season you were meant to stand alone. And strength without renewal slowly turns into emptiness. You feel this way because you have given more than you have received. You poured yourself into people, into responsibilities, into expectations, into simply surviving. You kept showing up, even when you were already tired. You kept caring when you felt unnoticed. You kept moving when your heart needed rest. And that kind of giving does not drain all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, until one day something inside feels hollow, and you cannot remember when it began. This did not happen because you stopped believing. It happened because you kept believing while carrying too much. You hoped, you trusted, you endured. But endurance without relief wears down the soul. You moved from one season to the next without being restored in between. Survival kept you going, but it did not refill what was poured out. You learned to carry your burdens silently. You did not want to worry anyone. You did not want to complain or appear weak, so you held it in. You told yourself it was fine. You told yourself others had it harder. You chose gratitude and kept moving. But even quiet pain leaves a cost when it is never released. You became the strong one, the dependable one, the one others relied on. And when you are always the one holding everything together, you are rarely the one being held. You learn to function without support, to manage without rest, to continue without comfort. That strength helped you survive, but it also left you depleted. Emotional exhaustion does not always look dramatic. Often it feels like numbness. You still do what must be done, but joy feels distant. Motivation fades. Things that once mattered feel heavy in ways you cannot explain. That is not indifference. That is fatigue of the soul. You have been living in survival mode for a long time. Survival focuses on getting through the day, the task, the next responsibility. It does not ask how your heart feels, and when survival lasts too long, the heart forgets how to hope freely or rest without guilt. Disappointments also took more from you than you realized. You expected certain doors to open, certain people to stay, certain outcomes to unfold. When they did not, you adjusted. You told yourself to move on, to be realistic, but each disappointment quietly took a piece of energy, a piece of trust, a piece of hope. Over time, those pieces matter. You have also been patient longer than you ever expected. Waiting is not passive. Waiting requires strength, restraint, and faith without visible answers. But waiting without clarity stretches the heart thin. You kept telling yourself you were okay, not because you were pretending, but because you did not know another way forward. You believed it would pass. You pushed a little longer. And you did keep pushing through fatigue, through confusion, through quiet sadness. That pushing helped you function, but it slowly drained your reserves. This emptiness does not mean you lack purpose. It means you have been running on what was left instead of what you were meant to receive. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. Isaiah 58:11. There is a difference between surviving and living. One keeps you moving, the other restores your soul. And what you are being led toward now is not survival but life. You may have wondered why your prayers began to feel different, why the words came slowly, why the passion you once felt seemed distant. It was not because I stepped away. It was because you were weary. A tired heart does not pray the same way. Sometimes it prays in whispers, sometimes in silence, sometimes in nothing more than a breath or a sigh. And I heard those prayers too. You may have felt guilty for the emptiness, telling yourself you should be stronger, more grateful, more joyful. But listen carefully. Emptiness is not ingratitude. It is a signal. It is your soul asking for care, for rest, for renewal. You did not become empty because you lacked discipline. You became empty because you cared deeply and gave faithfully for a long time. Giving like that is beautiful, but even love must be renewed. Without restoration, even the strongest heart grows tired. I see how long you have held yourself together. I see how often you placed your needs last. I see how you kept moving forward, even when your spirit felt heavy. That is not weakness. That is endurance. But endurance without renewal always leads to depletion. You became strong for everyone else, dependable, steady, reliable. And somewhere along the way, you forgot how to receive what you were giving. That was not failure. It was necessity. Understand this clearly. Your emptiness is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to be understood. It tells the story of a heart that has given, waited, carried, and remained faithful longer than it should have alone. You do not need to fix this by trying harder. More effort will not heal what exhaustion created. Emptiness is not filled by noise, distraction, or achievement. It is restored by truth and by rest. When you understand this, you stop blaming yourself. And when the blame lifts, healing can begin. You are not failing at life. You are exhausted from carrying too much without being refilled. You are not distant from me. You are tired, and tired hearts need gentleness, not pressure. I give rest to the weary and satisfy the faint. Jeremiah 31:25. Your emptiness does not disappoint me. It moves me. It reveals how long you have stood, how much you have carried, how deeply you have cared. You do not have to carry this alone anymore. You do not need to pretend. You do not need to explain what you feel. I have seen the slow draining. I have waited for the moment when you would stop pushing and allow yourself to rest. This emptiness is not your ending. It is the turning point where restoration begins. You are not empty because you are lacking. You are empty because you have been giving, and what has been poured out can be filled again. Do not rush past this truth. You are not broken. You are tired. And tired souls are not meant to be fixed, they are meant to be restored, gently, patiently, and completely. My child, I want you to understand how this emptiness came to be, not so you will feel shame, but so you will see the truth. This did not appear suddenly, and it did not happen because you failed or because something inside you broke. It formed slowly, through seasons where you survived instead of healed, through burdens you carried quietly, and through pain you learned to live with rather than release. Life asked more of you than you were ready to give, and still you gave. You were stretched before you felt strong, tested before you felt steady, required to adapt before you ever felt safe. And you did adapt. You kept moving because stopping felt risky. That strength kept you going, but it also taught your heart to step aside for the sake of survival. This emptiness was not built in one moment. It was shaped by many small ones, disappointments you absorbed, words you never addressed, outcomes that did not match your hope. Each time you adjusted, each time you held the impact instead of releasing it, something settled inside. Pain that is carried but never processed does not disappear. It gathers quietly. You trusted timing. You trusted people. You believed your effort would lead to clarity. When things unfolded differently, you did not collapse. You lowered your expectations. You told yourself not to hope too much next time. That felt wise, even protective. But each time you reduced your hope, a little more light faded from your inner world. Eventually, you became careful with desire. You learned to want less, so disappointment would hurt less. That protection made sense, but it slowly drained you. There were seasons when survival was necessary. You focused on getting through the day, the responsibility, the pressure. Survival keeps you moving forward, but it does not nourish the soul. When it lasts too long, the heart forgets how to receive. You learn to be strong before you learn to feel safe. You learn to manage before you learn to rest. You learn to cope before you learn to heal. These patterns were not your fault. They grew in places where vulnerability did not feel possible, where stopping felt like falling apart. So you stayed functional, reliable, steady. And each time you chose strength over honesty, a little more of your energy was spent. Each time you said you were fine when you were not, care was postponed. You were not pretending you were surviving, but survival carried for too long always has a cost. There were also losses you never named as grief. Some things did not just change, they ended. Some dreams quietly faded. Some versions of your life never came to be. You kept moving because you had to. But moving on is not the same as letting go. Unexpressed grief becomes weight, and weight carried long enough becomes emptiness. Hear this clearly. Your emptiness is not proof that you failed. It is proof that you endured. You kept caring. You kept showing up. You remained open when it would have been easier to close your heart. But openness without renewal leads to depletion. You were strong when you should have been supported, patient when you should have been comforted, understanding when you should have been protected. That was not weakness, that was strength. And strength without rest will always drain the soul. If shame has tried to attach itself to this emptiness, release it. I do not see failure when I look at you. I see the outline of everything you have carried, the responsibilities, the disappointments, the long seasons of endurance. I see how much you poured out without being poured into. Over time, excitement turned into caution. You began to brace instead of hope. You told yourself that feeling less was maturity, but numbness is not wisdom. It is a signal that something precious has been stretched too thin. You did not become empty because you were careless. You became empty because you were faithful in hard seasons. You kept going when quitting would have been easier. You stayed kind when bitterness would have been understandable. That is not failure. That is costly strength. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6-9. This emptiness is not a dead end. It is a signal that what sustained you before is no longer enough. Your soul is asking for renewal, for gentleness, for truth. This is not accusation, it is invitation. Do not see this emptiness as a flaw. See it as evidence of a long journey. See it as proof that you have been strong for a long time, and that now strength must be met with care. Nothing about this disqualifies you. Nothing about this disappoints me. I am not stepping closer because you failed. I am here because you endured long enough. You do not have to survive this next season the way you survived the last one. You do not need to hide your emptiness or rush past it. It is not something to punish. It is something to understand and restore. You gave and gave and gave, and what has been poured out can be filled again. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing at life. You are tired from carrying too much for too long. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40-31. This emptiness does not define you. It marks the moment where endurance begins to give way to restoration. Let this truth settle. You do not need to defend yourself. You have already been strong enough. Now, let yourself be filled. My child, I want to honor you now, not in a way that draws attention to you, but in a quiet and steady way that reaches the places where you once wondered if anyone truly saw your strength. I have seen your endurance. I have watched you continue when it would have been easier to stop. I noticed every unseen effort, every silent decision to rise again, every time you chose strength without recognition. From the outside, many days looked ordinary. You woke up, you showed up, you carried on. But I saw the effort it took just to begin. I saw the weight you held behind your calm and the weariness you carried quietly. I saw the courage it took to move forward when part of you wanted to withdraw and rest. I saw the tears you hid so no one would ask questions you were not ready to answer. I saw the tears you never allowed to fall. I saw the moments when your voice tightened, your heart grew heavy, and still you chose to continue. Those moments were not small, they were acts of quiet strength. I saw the nights when your mind would not settle, when thoughts circled and uncertainty would not release you. I saw you lying still, trying to calm your heart, trying to carry what no one else could see. You were not alone in those quiet hours. I was there, closer than you realized. I saw the choices you made when no one was watching. The times you chose kindness when hurt could have turned you bitter. The times you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. The times you chose patience when frustration was justified. Those decisions required restraint, courage, and trust, and none of them were overlooked. I saw the responsibilities you carried that were heavier than you expected. You stepped into them because someone had to. You became dependable because others leaned on you. That strength was not effortless. It cost you energy, comfort, and sometimes peace, and I honor you for carrying what you did not choose but accepted anyway. I saw the moments you held your words to keep peace, not because you had nothing to say, but because you were protecting relationships, choosing understanding, and preventing greater hurt. That kind of restraint required wisdom and emotional strength, even when no one recognized it. I saw how you adjusted your expectations to guard your heart. You learned to hope carefully. You walked forward with caution, not because your faith was weak, but because you had been wounded and were learning how to survive. I understand that. And I honor the way you kept moving without letting your heart become hard. I saw the times you felt invisible, the days you wondered whether your efforts mattered, the moments when it seemed no one truly understood the weight you were carrying, but you were never unseen. The Lord sees not as man sees, the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16-7. Every quiet act of faithfulness was known. Every hidden burden was noticed. Every silent victory was counted. You were never invisible to me, and you never will be. Before you go, take one small step. Like this video, so it can reach another weary heart. If you want more words like this, subscribe and stay close. And if you're comfortable, tell me in the comments what you're carrying, just a word or a short sentence.
Given that you're a billionaire, would you support higher taxes on billionaires?
Think of me as the billionaire who's going to raise money from billionaires. We can't solve the issues without billionaires paying more. I'm Tom Steyer. We have to make California affordable. Cheerio.
It's